Hi children, today we go through the very familiar topic gender. What is gender? Gender is used to describe the characteristics of women and men, girls and boys that are socially constructed, while sex refers to those that are biologically determined. This includes norms, behaviors, and roles associated with being a woman, man, girl, or boy, as well as relationships with each other. As a social construct, gender varies from society to society and can change over time. People are born female or male but learn to be girls and boys who grow into women and men. This learned behavior makes up gender identity and determines gender roles. Gender is hierarchical and produces inequalities that intersect with other social and economic inequalities. Gender-based discrimination intersects with other factors of discrimination such as ethnicity, socio-economic status, disability, age, geographic location, gender identity, and sexual orientation, among others. This is referred to as intersectionality. Gender interacts with but is different from sex, which refers to the different biological and physiological characteristics of females, males, and intersex persons, such as chromosomes, hormones, and reproductive organs. Gender and sex are related to but different from gender identity. Gender identity refers to a person's deeply felt, internal and individual experience of gender, which may or may not correspond to the person's physiology or designated sex at birth. Gender inequality and discrimination faced by women and girls puts their health, education, and well-being at risk. Women and girls often face greater barriers than men. These barriers include restrictions on mobility, lack of access to decision-making power, lower literacy rates, discriminatory attitudes of communities and healthcare providers, and lack of training and awareness among us healthcare providers. All these challenge of women and girls. Today we are going to start the first chapter in module 3, gender. Let's begin with Anne Rich. Anne Rich was born in Baltimore, Maryland on May 16, 1929. She was a renowned American poet, essayist, and political activist. She defined herself as a woman, lesbian, and feminist. She was called one of the most widely read and influential poets of the second half of the 20th century. She attended Radcliffe College, graduating in 1951 and was selected by W. H. Auden for the Yale Series of Younger Poets Prize for A Change of World. It was published in 1951. In 1953, she married Harvard University economist Alfred H. Conrad. 2 years later, she published her second volume of poetry, The Diamond Cutters, in 1955. After having 3 sons before the age of 30, Rich gradually changed both her life and her poetry. Throughout the 1960s, she wrote several collections, including Snapshots of a Daughter-in-Law. It was published in 1963. And Leaflets. It was published in 1969. The content of her work became increasingly confrontational, exploring such themes as women's role in society, racism, and the Vietnam War. The style of these poems also revealed a shift from careful metric patterns to free verse. From 1967 to 1969, Rich lectured at Swarthmore College and taught at Columbia University School of the Arts as an adjunct professor in the writing division. Additionally, in 1968, she began teaching in the SEEK program in City College of New York, a position she continued until 1975. In 1970, identifying herself as a lesbian, Rich left her husband, who committed suicide later that year. It was in 1973, in the midst of the feminist and civil rights movements, the Vietnam War, and her own personal distress, that Rich wrote Diving into the Wreck, a collection of exploratory and often angry poems which garnered her the National Book Award in 1974. Rich accepted the award on behalf of all women and shared it with her fellow nominees Alice Walker and Audre Lorde. In 1976, Rich began her partnership with Jamaican-born novelist and editor Michelle Cliff, which lasted until her death. Michelle was a Jamaican-American author whose notable works include Ebon, No Telephone to Heaven, and Free Enterprise. Rich went on to publish numerous poetry collections, including Tonight No Poetry Will Serve. It was published in 2010. The School Among the Ruins. It was published in 2004, which won the Book Critics Circle Award. Collected Early Poems. It was published in 1993. And Atlas of the Early World. It was published in 1991. A finalist for the National Book Award. And The Dream of a Common Language. It was published in 1978. In addition to her poetry, Rich wrote several books of non-fiction prose, including Arts of the Possible Essays and Conversations. It was published in 2001. And What is Found There? Notebooks on Poetry and Politics. It was published in 1993. About Rich's work, The poet W.S. Merwin has said, all her life she has been in love with the hope of telling utter truth, and her command of language from the first has been staggeringly powerful. Rich received the Bollington Prize and the Lannan Lifetime Achievement Award, the Academy of American Poets Fellowship, the Ruth Lilly Poetry Prize, the Leonore Marshall Poetry Prize, the National Book Award, and a MacArthur Fellowship. She was also a former Chancellor of the Academy of American Poets. In 1997, she refused the National Medal of Arts, stating that I could not accept such an award from President Clinton or this White House because the very meaning of art, as I understand it, is incompatible with the cynical politics of this administration. The same year, Rich was awarded the Academy of American Poets Wallace Stevens Award for outstanding and proven mastery in the art of poetry. Her political belief is best manifested in her comment. All human life on the planet is born of woman, the one unifying, incontrovertible experience shared by all women and men is that month's long period we spent unfolding inside a woman's body. She died on March 27, 2012 at the age of 82. My dear children, you don't forget to read the page number 49 in your textbook. In this module Gender, the first chapter is Claiming an Education, speech by Antrim Rich. Rich's Claiming an Education, the convocation speech, delivered in September 1977 to the graduating women students of Douglas College, New Jersey, USA, speaks of the importance of claiming versus receiving an education, a dilemma faced in most schools and curriculums across the world. The speech, titled Claiming an Education, was first printed in the magazine The Common Woman in 1977 and eventually reprinted in the collection on Lies, Secrets and Silence, Selected Prose, 1966 to 1978. Let's start the speech. All of you please take the page number 50 in your textbook. Antrim Rich started the convocation speech by revealing her plan. Convocation means a large formal assembly of people. I think all of you remembered well. She is addressing the graduating women students of Douglas College, New Jersey, USA. She planned to separate her remarks into two parts by saying some thoughts about women students and some thoughts about teachers who teach in a women's college. But both are indivisible. We can't separate them. University education goes through credit hours, tests, and grades. We are also part of this system. She starts out by saying that university education implies an ethical and intellectual contract between teacher and a student. We can see the ethical and intellectual contract between teachers and students. Ethical means relating to moral principles. Intellectual means ability to think in a logical way. Although this contract is intuitive, dynamic and unwritten. Intuitive means having the ability to know or understand things without any proof or evidence. Actually, it is unwritten and dynamic. She tries to inform the audience the difference between someone who receives an education and someone who chooses to claim an education. To support the claim, Rich constitutes a number of valid points. For example, Rich asserted that students must take responsibility when it comes down to education. Rich rationalizes that instead of going into school with the mindset of receiving an education, claiming an education is more beneficial for a successful education. I already told you, although it is unwritten, one must look on to it because you cannot afford to think of being here to receive an education. You will do much better to think of yourself as being here to claim one. വിദ്യാഭ്യാസം സ്വീകരിക്കുക എന്നതിനേക്കാൾ ഉപരി അതൊരു അവകാശമായി നേടിയെടുക്കുക എന്ന് വിശേഷിപ്പിക്കാനാണ് ആൻട്രിൻ റിച്ച് ഇഷ്ടപ്പെടുന്നത്. The difference between to claim an education and to receive an education is that one is acting and another is being acted upon. And for women, it can literally mean the difference between life and death. According to Rich, one of the devastating weaknesses of the university learning has been its almost total erasure or neglect of women's experience and thought from the curriculum and its exclusion of women as members of the academic community. Today, we can see that the increasing numbers of women students in every branch of higher learning, but we still see very few women in the upper levels of faculty and administration in most institutions. That's why she reveals that the devastating weaknesses of the university learning is almost total neglect of women's experience and thought from the curriculum and its exclusion of women as members of the academic community. But nowadays, we can see the changing curriculum and the academic community. Douglas College itself is a women's college in a university administered overwhelmingly or with a great majority men. Even the Douglas College, it is a women's college. In that college also we can see the administration section was controlled by majority men. But the most significant fact that what you learn here, the very texts you read, the lectures you hear, the way your studies are divided into categories and fragmented one from the other. It is not an accurate picture of past, nor a group of rigorously tested observations about human beings. We can't confidently tell that what we learn or what we read. It is an extremely thorough and careful examination about human beings. What you can learn here is how men have perceived and organized their experience, their history, their ideas of social relationships, good and evil, sickness and health, etc. You read about what men, above all white men, in their male subjectivity. Actually, you read nothing about women in your curriculum. That's why she speaks about the devastating weaknesses of the university learning. I think all of you remembered well. What is the devastating weaknesses of the university learning? It's almost total erasure or neglect of women's experience and thought from the curriculum and its exclusion of women as members of the academic community. We can only read and understand the life of men, but we can't say that it is tested observations about human beings. Black and other minority peoples have for some time recognized that their racial and ethnic experience was not accounted for in the studies. Even the sciences can be racist. Racist means racial discrimination. The person who shows racial discrimination. That's why Anthony Rich says even the sciences can be racist. For many reasons, it has been more difficult for women to comprehend or understand our exclusion. Women can't understand why the life of women neglected from the curriculum or from the books. What is the reason? So we realize that even the science can be sexist. Sexist means the person who shows discrimination based on sex, especially discrimination against women. That's why Anthony Rich says science can be racist and sexist because we can't identify what is the reason behind to avoid women. What is the reason behind the exclusion of women? It is only within the last 100 years that higher education has grudgingly been opened up to women at all even to white middle class women. We can see the change happened just before last 100 years. Then the higher education has been opened up to women, not for all women, just for white middle class women. Many of us have found ourselves reading eagerly over books with a title like The Descent of Man, Man and His Symbols, Irrational Man, The Phenomenon of Man, The Future of Man, Man and the Machine, From Man to Man, May Man Prevail, Man, Science and Society, or One-Dimensional Man. All these books pretending to describe a human reality that does not include over one half the human species. And Friedrich feels that there is a lot of gendered bias in education. She says that men had perceived and organized in their experience, their history and their social relationships the concept of good and evil, which is what is being taught in colleges. I think all of you remembered well, they already excluded women's experience from the curriculum. It is only within the last 100 years that higher education has been opened to women, mainly to white and middle class women. That's why she says science can be racist and sexist. The books we study have names like The Descent of Man, Man and His Symbols, The Future of Man, Man and Machine, etc. These books describe a human reality that does not include over one half the human species. From those titles itself, we can easily understand these books speak about the life of men. But they argue that we will get the life of human. How it is possible? From this, we can easily understand there is gender discrimination, especially between men and women. I think this is enough for today's class. We covered till second paragraph in page number 51 in your textbook. All of you read the textbook well. Let's go through the questions relating this portion. First question, in which collection was Claiming an Education included? You can go through the options given here. Next question, in which college did Anne Rich deliver the speech entitled Claiming an Education? Next question, how did Anne Rich plan to separate her remarks into two parts? Next question, mention one of the devastating weaknesses of the university learning according to Rich. Next question, what is the difference between to claim an education and to receive an education? I'm sure you can easily find out the answers. We will continue the chapter in our next class. Thank you.